Good morning, fellow matriculants. Wonderful to be online once again. The first session that we did, we talked about elegies. So what I'd love to do now is the child dying, please. We're dealing with death and doom and gloom, but let's have a look at the child dying. So what is the sense of the poem? If I asked you in one sentence, what would the sense of the poem be? That is just in one or two sentences saying what is the superficial meaning of the poem. And the superficial meaning or the sense meaning of the poem would be, this is a poem about a child describing his feelings, his experiences of dying. It's first person narrator. He says, I pack your stars into my purse. And it would seem that he is speaking to his father, because throughout the poem he says to his father, let me describe this eternity that I'm going into. Let me hold your hand. So what is the intention of the poet? Why did Edwin Muir write this poem? He wrote the poem to reveal these in-depth feelings and experiences of a child not equipped to deal with this. Who is ever equipped? But this child describes his feeling and his experiences of the world that he is leaving and of the world that he is going into. All right. So you can understand he has a foot in both worlds. So therefore, his feelings are ambivalent. Ambivalent means he feels this way, then he feels that way. So that's why in the opening line of this poem, he speaks about unfriendly, friendly universe. Now, guys, we know from the other two poems that we discussed in session 1 that this is an oxymoron. Two contrasts, two contrasting words placed side by side. Friendly, unfriendly universe. So he's saying goodbye to a unfriendly universe, which may possibly be the universe that he is leaving behind because it has brought him pain. He may be referring to the unfriendly universe as the one that he is going to. He is unsure of the universe that he is going to. But he also calls his world friendly because that is what he knows. It is the known. So therefore, it possibly could be the friendly universe. Okay. So we also have feelings in this poem of helplessness. He says, he's talking to his father, you are so great and I am so small. So there are feelings of ambivalence, there are feelings of helplessness, there are feelings of anguish. He says, Father, Father, I dread this air. You can imagine how afraid he would be of the universe that he is going to enter into. He talks about the memories that he has, and he has been told that these memories will accompany him. And possibly they will keep him warm and comfort him in this universe that he is going to go to. He actually repeats a number of words in this poem, and that highlights the child's desperation. It highlights his fear. So let's have a look at this eternity for which he is bound. He describes it as a place where the air is cold, where it is filled with nothing. It is excluding the world that he knows, all right? So he feels separate. He feels isolated from this world that is manifesting himself, this world, this dark and lonely world that he is heading for. And guys, in the last 2 or 3 lines, he says, you here, that's his father, I there. So hand in hand, twin-leafed despair. We look at that word twin-leafed. Guys, that is called a compound adjective. So that describes his father's despair, twin-leafed. Both himself and his father feel this despair. They are linked, but they are separate. I did not know, he says in the last line, that death was so strange. So we feel his separation, we feel his isolation from his father. Guys, if you were looking at the poetic techniques in this poem, you'd have to look at the oxymoron, the figures of speech. You'd have to look at the use of repetition. You'd also have to look at the sound devices. Now, you know that sound devices are the alliterations that are used, the assonance that is used. What is alliteration? Alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sound. So you go to that poem, you have a look and see where the alliteration occurs. Have a look at the assonance. What is assonance? Assonance is the repetition of the vowel sounds, and those vowel sounds stay in the middle of the words, and they create an oral image, oral, A-U-R-A-L, oral as in sound device. So you have a look at that. Guys, that is the end of session 2, and we will move on to session 3 in the next few days. Au revoir, everybody. Speak soon.